Welcome back, everybody. Here we are. My computer's fixed. The Awaken Men podcast is back online.
Yes.
We're definitely back together, I think, for a little bit of time now. Especially when my computer was rebooting in the middle of everything, so some of the audio was really messed up on the other podcast. But hey, you can still hear us, unscripted and always raw. Nothing
That's
else.
true.
Man, so I don't know if you keep up with this, but Mercury in retrograde is about to go according to the astrologers. It's going there, so that means computers will be working. Communication is a big effort. So we have to be very patient and very slow when we communicate and just confirm that we understand what we're saying.
Yes.
I don't know if you believe in that, but I can tell you, being in IT, the computers definitely break during that time. And I'm talking like more than usual because I don't know. Sometimes weird little issues happen that I can't explain during this time window.
Okay. When is Mercury retrograde right now?
It's starting today, and then it ends. I can't remember when it ends, but it starts today, and then it's usually about 3 to 4 weeks or something like that.
Okay. Well, I know the moon affects people, and I was working with detox, and I would people would be crazier, so I can't imagine the other planets affect people too, because I'm sure they have a big pull on us.
Yeah, I've always believed that, because it's all energy, it's all vibration, and, it's all moving around us in one way or another. It's just a matter of how synchronized we are with it and if we're paying attention or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's snowing right now where I'm at, and that slows everyone down, and people eat more, and there's a natural reaction to that. So you'd think on a galactic level, there would be a reaction to what's happening, right? If there was an explosion in space somewhere, it would affect us, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, all that energy kind of moving through, it's like, and I would think that of all beings, and I'm calling everything a being. I mean, animals and trees and everything. I think the environment would probably feel it the most because it's doing a whole bunch of stuff to me. And, if we're such conscious beings sometimes that we stay so busy and we just forget everything and we don't pay attention to anything but our own little world.
Right. Yeah. If you never slow down or have the time or ability or, abundance to slow down, like you can't see anything. Like you just get lost in
everything.
Yeah. In the current. It'd be if like the earth or like never slow down. Like there was never cold or there was never rain or there's never that, like everything slows down, right? Even nature slows down, then speeds up, then slows down. But as humans, we're somehow trying to push past nature, right?
Yeah.
We drink caffeine and coffee to keep on moving, when really more rest would get us more aligned. And when we're more aligned, things would flow easier.
Yeah, that's what I find so funny. It's like sometimes, I don't know what it is about us, but when we get into a certain point in our lives, it's like especially in our younger years, we're always in a rush to get everything done. And it's like, I got to do everything. I remember those times.
Right.
And I think it's just a progression. Well, I don't know. I have to say there's some people around my age that actually still want to go and run. But I'm more of a chill guy. I really am the little calm Buddha. And it drives some people crazy because I'm just pretty mellow all the time. And for whatever reason, it rubs people the wrong way sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our whole society's conditioning in America is to go. I mean, that is, and there's probably some benefit as a culture to tell everyone to go, right? Everyone picks up on their bootstraps. It's all about action and working hard. Like if that's what you're conditioned with from a little kid, that helps the society in some senses because people will do that. That makes a good factory worker so the people up top can make you work. But I think we're coming to a time where we need to slow down. And we have the ability to. We have a dishwasher, and farming doesn't take, we're not farming by hand most of the places.
All right. I mean, that's the funny part. We we think the whole world revolves around us, and we think that everything we're doing is, if we stop doing something, it's like, oh, the world's going to end. In reality, the world's always going to be in. So, what's the use of go, go, go if we go, go, go and we're still here? I mean, why not just take our time and kind of move through the life and, right? I don't know, but that's my opinion. I mean, I grew up with IT where everything was instant. It's like I had to be, even now, it's like it's getting faster and faster. Texting, if you text somebody, somebody wants you to respond faster.
Right.
That's, and it drives me crazy sometimes because I send, like, I receive a text and I'm in a meeting or I'm somewhere, doing something. And people get mad if I don't respond to them right away. It's like, where were you? It's, are you okay? It's like, I was, it's like sometimes I want to tell them, I'm in the bathroom, people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, definitely that's a new conditioning right now. People are wanting instant feedback and people to be instantly around, and it creates, I don't know, chaos, really.
I think so. I mean, because the chaos is self-imposed too. That's what's really funny. We always talk about, oh, we're so busy, and the only people that have created that busyness is us, which I find very funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scarcity of time. And I did a little research on it and, how the brain works. And, people, when they're in a scarcity of time, they actually end up being more busy. It's like, it's ironic. They think they have to do more than they have to, right? Like if you went through a list and was like, what do I really have to do today? It's probably very short. It might be like, for me, like go to the gym, sleep, work this much. Like that's it. Like, and I don't really have to go to the gym. I just like to, but that's it. There's nothing, but we like make up all these things we have to do, right? I have to clean this thing. I have to buy this thing. I have to do this. But really, if your room took 2 months to get together instead of 2 weeks, the world wouldn't end, right?
Yep. Yeah, and even if we weren't here, it's like the world wouldn't end. That's the funny part. We think we're like that the universe revolves around us, and it really doesn't. I mean, we revolve around the universe, I think, is the way that I'd like to say it. Because even the moment we're gone from Earth, I mean, yeah, we'll annihilate ourselves or, climate change or whatever. And even if we're no longer here, the Earth is still going to be here. It's such an ego thing to think that we have all the power on this. I mean, we have the power to destroy ourselves. That's as much power as we have. Other than that, I mean, we can't really, so far, I haven't found something that will destroy the entire universe or the world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in some senses we're super important, in other senses we're not important at all. Like if you died or you took, many people with businesses think if they take 2 weeks off or a week off, like everything's going to crumble.
Yeah.
I had the experience of getting off Facebook and I was like, well, my business will crumble. My whole I won't be able to contact people. Like I won't know what's going on. And I was like, oh, it doesn't really matter, right? Like I'm fine. Like the more I disconnect, the more I'm like, oh, everything's just fine. And actually what it does is the more you don't think you're that important and you're just part of the whole, it actually makes your life simpler because you don't have to be some famous, big, successful, rich person, right? Everyone has the same goal in America, to be rich, probably famous, and then you're successful, right? Then you're a real man or something once you get there. But really, life's so much simpler. Like there's better men that make $10 an hour at McDonald's than there are that make billions of dollars. So like to make that your success is just warped. It's not a really good idea. And I think knowing that you don't have to pursue some big thing, then you can relax. But I think as men in America, especially, maybe other countries too, you're told to pursue some big lofty goal all the time. But that has its purpose. But if you didn't have to for a second and knew everything would be fine, even if you didn't do that big thing, then your nervous system can relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the things that in speaking to that, it's like the disconnection of technology is actually one of the most relaxing things. Really turning off. I mean, it's like turning off Facebook really does kind of give you so much more time. It's funny how much time we spend on the little things, and we think we're busy, but really when we sit down and actually take note of all the time of where we're at or doing, some of it we're I like to say lollygagging around in Facebook, we're surfing the web, we're listening to music, or we're doing something, and somehow we see that as idle time, but really it's not idle time because it's still keeping us preoccupied.
Right. Yeah, and it's taking your dopamine and your brain power,
Mm-hmm.
and you only have a certain amount. And um, as you know, I do channelings. I'm in channeling a being called Therion from Atlantis, and he talks about a lot about how you want to empty your brain to receive divine intelligence. I just wrote this today. So when you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, without Twitter, I've never been on Twitter, but what happens is you're loading your brain with information, so you can't receive information from that divine web, or just your own ideas if you don't believe in that. So it's just filling your brain. That's why people get so much clarity going into nature or going away on vacation, and they figure out their life, right? People go on vacation, they come back and they like break up with someone or quit their job or stay in their job or change or whatever it is. And that's because you actually empty your brain enough to receive that information. I think of the Lego movie. Have you ever seen the Lego movie?
No, yeah.
When he has the empty brain and he's the one that can receive the information, which is actually true, like in some weird sense.
Oh, I mean, that movie, it's like, I love that movie because especially at the very beginning, it's like, let me pull out the happy manual. How to be happy. And it has all these steps to society of what to do. It's like, and how to make friends and how to do that. And it might be a children's movie, but man, there's so much symbolism in there that if you're paying attention, anybody's paying attention, you'll see it talks about social conditioning, how to be happy with yourself and nobody else. I mean, it really is very powerful movie.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Definitely. But that emptying your mind to receive the information. And and decluttering the conditioning, right? Like that takes a long time. And I think of a computer, to see this information, but like a computer needs to defrag, right? My cat.
That's my other cat. All right. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. So just defragging ourselves. And I think slowing down does that. When you shut down a computer, it reboots better. And I think we're the same in some senses. We're not a computer, but these are just examples.
Yeah, it's funny when we have the rebooting of the computer. I think it is probably the best. And I like what you said about nature. It's like nature is really a good reset. For me, at least, it's like I love just going out there, and what I do, I just turn off the phone when I go out in nature and just let it be. It's like it is what it is, and not worry about it at all. And if something happens, don't get me wrong. It's like I have the phone in case if something does happen, but I don't have it on.
Right.
Which I think those are the simple things that we should be doing. Just kind of turning off the phone once in a while. And we talk about that a lot. But I think it's very important. I know we probably harp on it so much, but it is a very important part of our lives to slow down and really just kind of admire what a gift life is. I mean, running water. I mean, everything. I mean, being able to have pets that jump in front of the camera. I mean, some places you can't do that. You can't have some running water. I've been watching a documentary about Bill Gates on Netflix, and they brought a very big thing about a toilet, and they're reinventing a toilet that was uh, when they would go use the toilet, it would actually create clean drinking water. And little things like that, we take for granted. It's like drinking water.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll get in my soapbox about that, so about gratitude, but I think it's a very important part in our lives that we don't appreciate so much.
Right. Yeah, because we're programmed to, how we were talking about this too, like me and my partner Hannah, but like focusing on the problems. Like we're so trained to focus on what's wrong, right? Somehow by focusing on what's wrong, we can fight it and get it to go away, which is conditioning. But we have to train our brains to appreciate. And when we do,
Yeah,
we feel way better. And actually, it clears up our brain to receive more guidance and inspiration.
hmm,
Appreciative person, I think of like Gary Vee, who's like super energetic, but he's super appreciative. And that's like his, I always said my appreciation is my jet fuel that keeps me going.
hmm,
And stopping to appreciate, which takes slowing down. If you don't slow down, you're not going to appreciate.
yeah,
We have trillions of cells in our body all working together, and somehow you poop and pee every day without even thinking about it. And I had to bring up poop and pee at least once. And, there's snow and there's birds and trees giving oxygen. Like, it's pretty nuts. Like, even from a scientific perspective, like how much has to like be orchestrated. Like the sun
yeah,
has to be perfect from the earth, perfect distance for us to live. And then
yeah,
there's all these planets orbiting perfectly, and somehow there's gravity that keeps us here. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, if you look at it, it's like, holy shit. And this is not even from like a spiritual perspective. This is just like nature is just crazy.
yeah. It's one of the things that we. Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. I can't even add. I shouldn't even add anything to it because that's really it. I mean, there's the moment we think we're not perfect beings. I mean, I think that's the beauty of it. It's that we are very imperfect in the things we do and we have. And if we didn't have the imperfections of not realizing that what we do have, I mean, then we would only be one-sided and we wouldn't appreciate both things.
Mm.
But we've gotten to the point that we only see this side of the scale and we forget about this other side of the scale. We're so focused, we're so out of balance. And that's what at least for me, when I say we're out of balance, it's like we're so focused on all of this over here and we're forgetting about this little stuff over here. And it's not so little.
Mm-mm.
We forget those very important things like I get up in the morning and I have a roof over my head. I have shoes that I can walk on. I mean, the little things like that are just so amazing to me. When I sit down and just think that I'm gonna that something is going wrong, I really start looking at that and I look at inside and it's like, no, it's like, okay, let's look at really what I have. And when we sit down and actually do that, at least for me, it really makes me see the world very different.
Right. And that's like, I would call it like, I don't know where it's coming through, but like it's a hack. I mean, it's a hack to
Mm-hmm.
happiness or a hack to flow, because really there's no evidence ever that you making more and being richer or pursuing that thing is going to make you happier. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
not to be rich and famous or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's not going to make you happier. That's Rich people tell us that. Science tells us that. Positive
Mm-hmm.
psychology proved it. Spiritual teachers tell us it. So if really we have to appreciate where we're at, or we're never going to be happy. It doesn't matter. That's why you see people on Wall Street unhappy, right? They're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And you see people that are living in tribes in Africa super happy, right? And
Yeah.
they might not know, but they're appreciative of what they have. So it's like, oh, well, from a logical perspective, there's no way that this can make us happier. I think we as
Mm-hmm.
America have proved that material success and material abundance does not make you happier. Like, we have
Mm-hmm.
pursued it for 100 years, and it is people have more anxiety and more depression than
Yeah.
ever before. So obviously having more material things isn't going to make us happier. It's
Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at Robin Williams. I mean,
right.
I mean, in my opinion, he had it quite a bit. I mean, he was very famous. He had a whole bunch of awards, And you would have thought that he was happy. I mean, especially being a comedian, you would have thought he'd have it all, and then all of a sudden, for what happened to him was just kind of sad because
Mm.
he did have a lot of things, and we will never know what it was all about. But I mean, that goes to show you it doesn't matter what you have. It's like if you're still not happy inside, there's something more in there, and I don't know. I do think gratitude is the way to move through depression
Mm.
because when we're depressed, it's like we think that there's nothing else. I know, like when my brother was gone, it's like when my brother got killed, it's like one of the things I was really sad is like I didn't have a brother. It's like, oh man, my brother's gone. It's like, what am I gonna do? And I started thinking, well, I have the rest of my family. Fortunately, I still have the rest of my family. I have my mom, my sister, my nieces and nephews, and all of that. And and I had all of that to move me through it. And sometimes some people don't have that. So it made me really appreciate what I had. It gave me, my brother being gone from me, as weird as it sounds, gave me an appreciation for my life and an appreciation for everything that I had. So I'm very happy about it, as weird as that sounds.
Right. I mean, trauma or crazy experiences, yeah, definitely yours with your brother. I mean,
Hmm.
creates appreciation because it kind of slows you down. It hits you on the head. It makes you look around and go,
Yeah.
you have to. And I'm sorry you lost your brother. Like it's,
Hmm.
horrible. I'm not saying, oh, it's good you get someone dies in
No,
your
no,
life.
I understand.
But yeah, I think that's, it puts things in like a perspective for
Hmm.
people. And remembering what's important. And you just have to kind of, because our society
Hmm.
literally is brainwashing you, and not brainwashing in this conspiracy theory way, but like
Yeah, yeah.
to tell you you're in lack. It's like, because they can't sell you anything if you're not in lack, right? It's a trick. It's like, you don't have this, you don't have women in your life or having fun. Oh, look, you can have it, buy this beer, right? They're using
Hmm.
lack to sell you things, and I don't think it's evil, but it works. um, but when you're not in lack, when you're in that appreciation state, like
Hmm.
that's the way to feel better, because you can
Yep.
always be in lack. Even if you have $1 million, you can be like, how am I going to lose it? And blah, 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 blah. Or, you can be in a relationship and not appreciate that and be like, well, I
Hmm.
wish I had a better one. That's the treadmill that we get on.
Yeah, we always want more, no matter what. It's like if we have this, oh, we got to have more. If we have that, we got to have more. And that really comes from, and to me at least, to an unfulfillment inside of us. It's like
Mm.
there's something in us that we just can't fit up. The the fact that my brother was gone, it's like my brother got killed, and I'm not sure if I shared this before, but my he got killed because some guy broadsided him, and he was running from the police. The other guy was, and broadsided him and killed him. So there was a big news thing because of police chases over here. And the DA asked us to, while the trial was going on, they were going to convict him and everything like that. And he said, the DA told us, she goes, write a letter of whatever you want to say to him. And, and I sat there. It was about 3 years after the accident, I think, 3 or 2 years, something like that. And then I started writing a letter. And at the beginning, I started writing the anger I felt towards him. And then it's like I started writing a letter of forgiveness. It's like, it's like I don't blame you. It's like it's not. You didn't wake up in the morning that knowing that you were going to kill somebody, and it could be anybody I know that might have gone through that also.
Mm.
And I took off my anger, by forgiving, and I was very grateful that God, this is, some people might take it very different, but it doesn't matter to me. It's like I was grateful that I went through that experience because it showed me how much anger held me back. So I was grateful for a weird gift that he gave me by doing that, and my brother also.
Mm.
doesn't mean I wasn't sad about it. And I did have some anger and I moved through it, but giving that forgiveness to him was one of the most powerful things, whatever way you want to say it. It's like, but it was very powerful for me because I didn't carry the weight around of that anger anymore. And God, it was such a relief because I never realized I was carrying all that anger.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it sounds like you're able to release that anger, by writing that letter and then move into a place of forgiveness through that. And yeah, it's powerful because you're able to sit with those emotions, not ignore them, but then they move through, right?
Yeah.
And writing is just powerful in general, writing a letter to someone or.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I wasn't expecting that. I thought I had moved through the anger because I was doing a lot of healing work after that because I went downhill after that. And I thought I had moved through the anger, but really forgiving actually got rid of that anger, which was kind of what we're taught the opposite of. It's like now it's like the people are angry. It's like, oh, eye for an eye, eye for this and blah, blah, blah. And I don't see life like that anymore. I used to. But after doing that letter, and it was just, it changed my whole aspect in life. And that's what I mean. It's like, we have to be grateful that we're just living. And that part of my brother getting killed gave me that. And it's, I don't know, I'm repeating myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, from all me talking with the universe and just being a therapist, like there's no punishment has never worked to stop something. And I think it served a purpose in our past, to have some form of God that was going to punish you or some force to keep people in social order. Like there is, obviously we don't want rapists and murderers on the streets. Like we can put them somewhere.
Yeah.
But then loving them and forgiving them after that is the path to go.
Right.
And I'm not saying you just forgive them and we're going to let people off the hook, but also knowing that punishment doesn't solve the problem. But there is that feeling that if I give, and I have it too, I was delivering food and someone didn't tip well and I wanted to yell at her. And I was like, what's that going to do? Right. And that's obviously a very small thing for a big thing, but I think people can relate. And I was like, that's not going to help. One, I don't know what they're going through, right? They could just not have a lot of money. They're so busy and they have a family at home and then they got to order food because they can't do anything else and they got to eat and they can't tip because, $5 wouldn't buy groceries. I really don't know their situation, or their family was in lack and that's why they're in lack because they think they can't give out money because then they'll lose it. There's so many stories, right? And then we can move into forgiveness because we move into empathy for that person. Whoever that is, a murderer, right? Maybe he got beaten when he was a kid and you're like, oh, okay. I don't know if you saw the Joker movie, but he
no, I haven't yet.
People, and you like him by the end, right? The story creates the empathy because you see his backstory and how he becomes the Joker, and you're like, by the end, you're like, oh, I get why he would murder people because everyone hated him as a kid. He was bullied, right? Go see that movie; it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. But that's like anyone. You usually the more you get to know them, the less you want to throw them in jail or punch them for no reason. Maybe. But,
yeah, you just never know what's going to happen, and that's very, very powerful to be able to see where somebody has come from. I knew about the kid that he was 17 years old when my brother got killed. So his life was just starting, and he actually went to jail for 40 years. So it's been very interesting just to see that, and I actually wrote to him a couple of letters back and forth, and that was also another big thing for me too. But we just, some of the things like you were talking about what happened to you, it's like with the tip and all that. I don't devalue anything anymore. It's like, yes, my brother getting killed, that's one thing, but we all have our own triggers and it's all different things. And yes, it was a big traumatic event for mine. And don't get me wrong, I don't devalue the casualty of life of my brother with what you're doing, but with what happened to you, it's extreme at the point that we're going through whatever we're going through, no matter if life, I broke a glass. I mean, but there's something there for all of us. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather work through my triggers in my energetic level on the little things and wait for the big things, right? And
Yes.
yes, we need the big things, and life's gonna bring them
Uh-huh.
to us. But like to do our healing, like I love to thank the people that trigger me. So, and it's not always easy, but like
Hmm.
later on, thanking my hard intimate relationships or hard parents that they triggered me because
Hmm.
it's always important to make me who I am, right?
Yeah.
Um, Seeing that perfection in whatever's happening,
Hmm.
because it is life is that perfect. Like if, like I said, if the earth could be this far away from the sun and all those different things, then also life could be so perfect that it's bringing up everyone's emotional stuff to heal them.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it, you're like, okay, like it's almost like you get blown away. You're just like, oh,
I completely understand that.
yeah.
Well, it looks like we're up on our time again.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you always being here, Daniel. I'm glad that my computer's fixed. I'm very grateful for that because now actually you can hear me. I was hearing myself on the other videos and I sounded
Oh, so they just had to listen to me. We don't want that.
uh, so well. I have to turn up the volume to really hear our conversation very well. So here we go. Anyway, thank you everybody.
Yeah.
Daniel, as always, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Always subscribe, uh, comment, or anything because we want to listen to what you have to say, and then
Yeah.
we might talk about it here.
Yeah. And if you love this information, share it so you can help other people, get the information too. Because I think the more men that are talking about emotional things or just listening to something,
Hmm.
connecting to this, then we can heal this warped, successful man. It looks like this BS that exists on this planet.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything's
All right, Daniel. Well, thank you, audience, and we will see you next time on the Awaken Men podcast.